Hello. So, I'm going to start by addressing the elephant in the room here. This video looks like shit. It's not even symmetrical, right? Like, I could have made this room look better, but I didn't. And I'll tell you why it is a failure to prioritize. If you looked at the title of this video, you'll know this is a post-mortem on the week. If you don't know what a post-mortem is, it's after death. After everything is dead and gone, you figure out cause of death, and in my case, what I can do to remedy the situation. So, I've got a list here. I'm going to go down. I think the old me would have not done this. In fact, it's the first time I've done this and recorded and uploaded it. And so that gives me hope that the new me is going to, instead of feeling bad about myself, just like try to solve the problem and not only ruminate on all the cool ways I could do better, but like have concrete things. Like not like, damn, I just got to be better at XYZ. It's like, no. You're going to do this at Monday 9 a.m., Wednesday 9 a.m., Friday, whatever. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to start with what went well. What went well this week, I spent the week in San Francisco visiting friends, traveling, staying in this beautiful living room with my girlfriend. I went to a concert, Quadeca. Shout out Quadeca. Big fan. Got me some merch. Went engaged in my first mosh pit. That was crazy. That was sweaty as hell, bro. It was fun though. What else went well? We got some new clients. Chatted with some people who were interested in my video editing services, and so when I go back home, I'm gonna crack down on some launch videos. So that'll be good. Warming a connection with a really cool company. I wasn't able to grab lunch with them as they wanted, but just nailed the first phone call. Like, got off the phone and I was like, I'm the best. So feels good. Yeah, it's always fun when somebody asks how old you are, and then I get to say 20, and then they get to be like, whoa, you're 20? It's like, yeah. Saw some old friends. That was a great time. I have a lot of founder friends, and so it's always inspiring to hear what they're up to, how hard they're working, how much they care about the thing they're working on. I think that's my biggest learning from tech in general, is that these people are just like so passionate about what they do, and that's the only way to win. That's actually one of my learnings this week I have written down is if you want to compete with anybody in any space, you just have to love it. So that's exciting because it makes me want to just like double down on the things I love, like writing and making YouTube videos and things. So yeah, on one other note, this is totally random, but guys, you got to start optimizing your sleep, okay? I know, but if you just get yourself an eye mask, get yourself some reusable earplugs, you know, those ones that like look like trees. Get yourself nose strips, mouth tape. I've been tracking it with this thing, and I'm up to 94% sleep efficiency, which, yeah, it's just fun, as well as like, you know, I can feel myself having more energy. So highly recommend it. I also just feel cool as fuck when I go to bed with like all my headgear on. Highly recommend. Okay, so what didn't work this week? Well, the big thing is scrolling my phone. I should look at my average screen time because I don't want to sit here and pity myself. I've kicked myself for many a year on not being able to beat my phone addiction. In fact, it's the first time I've written it on my New Year's resolution was this year. But I'm not going to do that because it's like my average is 3.5 hours. That's not that bad. That's not that fucking bad. But I still want to load it because there's a lot I wish I could get to this week that I wasn't able to. And those little 10, 20-minute blocks really add up. So I want to come up with like a system, and I'll get into that, for limiting that next week. What else didn't work this week? Prioritizing writing. Last week I was very hyped to inform you guys that my screenplay is 20 pages long. I think now it's like 23 pages long. I'm not sure what it was last week, but it's still 23 pages long. And yeah, that's just because I didn't prioritize it. But I'm going to next week because I've decided I need a writing block. I'm going to try to just start with three times a week, because I've in the past felt that a daily commitment, it's easier to get down on myself when I miss it, right? Like, you have 7 days to potentially something to come up and miss it, and then feel like it's not a real thing anymore. If that makes sense. I'm kind of tired, sorry. And so I'm going to try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. 2-hour writing block. Got to be at least 2 hours. Honestly, even 3 hours would be sick. I'm going to write down 3 hours. 3 hours. That's when you really reach diminishing returns, but also reach flow state at some point between 2 and 3 hours. Okay. One other thing that didn't work well this week was spreading myself too thin. I had a bunch of people I wanted to meet, a bunch of old friends I want to hang out with, just like sights to see. It was way too much stuff. And the key also with way too much stuff is that it doesn't like compound with each other. Like, for example, like you could do a bunch of shit, but if it's like all for my YouTube, or it's like all a bunch of shit for my work, it compounds, It's like you're building a portfolio or you're building a catalog for content. But it's like if I'm just spreading myself between a bunch of things that don't like add to each other, that's the worst. So I'm going to try to do less of that and just focus on fewer higher leverage things next week. So anyways, continuing to concrete changes. I want to start with the hardest thing daily. I think that was the biggest issue for prioritization, was looking at my day, knowing I had to do X, Y, Z, and avoiding the hard thing, because you get to the end of the day and you've just done busy work, like light work, like replying to emails or whatever the fuck else I was doing all day that wasn't the hardest thing. This is such a like true fact at every scale, like whether it's the scale of like daily doing the hardest thing or weekly or monthly. I've also learned from my founder friends, like if you're running a company, to do the hardest thing, because everything else is a distraction. Like the hardest thing, the most scary thing, is often the thing that'll make or break your company. And so it's natural to rationalize like all the different things you could be moving the needle on, especially when you're a founder. There's fucking a million things to do all the time. But if you start with the hardest thing, it's just like highest leverage. Like, it's so obvious. So moving on. Yeah, you can open the door, that's fine. My girlfriend's staying with me. What else do I have here? Okay. So those are my next steps. I don't have something super concrete for do less things, but I'm just going to try to like keep that in the back of my mind. Excuse me. And what did I learn this week? Well, I already mentioned that. Yeah, basically like lower my decision fatigue. That's a big takeaway. If I can automate any decision making throughout the day, like what time to get up, when I'm allowed to go on my phone, when I should write, like if these things are all decided by me in advance, it takes away all the hemming and hawing about, what I should be working on, and what I shouldn't be doing. I also learned this week, and I'm going to double tap on this because I already mentioned it, but it's follow your curiosity. everything good that's ever happened to me has been a result of following my curiosity. So I'm going to continue doing that, because yeah, that's the only way to compete with anyone in any space, is fucking love what you do and love it so much you'll work way more than anyone else doing it because you like it. That's pretty much it. All right. So I don't have a big, profound ending to this. I hope that sharing some of the way I think about these problems inspires you guys to maybe reframe like a big blocker for you. And above all, I'm just kind of pleased with myself to be posting this tonight because in about 3 hours, 2.5 hours, I will have missed my weekly commitment. I said I was going to upload a YouTube video every week, and here I am at 9:36 p.m. uploading video on Friday. So, feeling good about that. Yeah. Hit me up in the comments, guys. Like, always down to chat. Always down to talk. Have a good night.